ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Whoa, here we go again with these boxes, so why not? Let's bring him in, Mr. Magnuson. There we go. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Thursday, Riley. May 23rd. Oh, I saw that when I was coming in 2024. All is well. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, of course, WagerWire. Go download the app if you haven't already over at Google Play. We'll take care of the rest from there. What is going on, Mr. Riley?
What is up, my friend? I believe the box issue might be me in the way I'm setting things up when I pop in there, as is obviously the wrong day of the week there. So thinking it's Friday, but obviously it's not. So either way, I'm in a Friday mood, I guess, is where I'm at with that one. So nonetheless, I am good, my man. It is a bit of a short slate tonight, but obviously where you are sitting and where you were physically sitting the other night is going to have some action again tonight, so worth talking about for sure there, and obviously a little MLB and some hockey action as well. So short slate, but the magnitude of what we've got is at least worthwhile talking about. So happy to be here and hoping to hear some fun from the other night from Boston, my friend.
It was a hell of a game. I must say that. Hold on one second here. Now I'm going a little cuckoo here. And listen. You did great setting this up. I can't thank you enough. I'm going to go here, and there we go. Presto Jane Joe. 2.0. I had low expectations because I am the mush of all mushes when it comes to playoff action. Seriously, a couple of years ago when they went to the finals and lost to the Warriors, I was at game 1 against the Bucks Sunday afternoon. Celtics 9.5-point favorites against Giannis. Told my buddy Celtics going to lose by 20. They lost by 20 outright. Then I was at the first game against the Heat in the finals. I think we were about 8.5-point favorites there, and Jimmy Butler and company did us in. So then I get the phone call, and this is a season ticket holder. And listen, you make your money back in the playoffs. I mean, the resale on these tickets are just through the roof. And he goes, hey, do you want to go to a game 1 or 2? I'm like, I am 0-2. I promise I am not going to do this to the Celtics and the Celtics fans. But what I saw 12-0. Boom, bing, bang, boom. I mean, Pacers, again, 7-game series, just played on Sunday. One of these trying to get your feet wet. Place is electric. I mean, Ortiz in the crowd, Drake May in the crowd. The list was endless, so all the stars in the crowd. I think, this is going to be an early one. Maybe we'll be bailing, sometime in the fourth quarter. Well, Pacers woke up, Siakam, Halliburton, Miles, the list was endless. I'm like, we got a ball game here. And sure enough, the expectations were low going in. In other words, roll the ball out, as we talked about. First one to 120 wins. I mean, each team allows you to get to your spot. It's not like anyone's there going to defend the rim or anything. Long story short, two costly mistakes to end the game by the Pacers. Brown hits the three, and then in overtime, Celtics struggled earlier, and then Pacers up 5 with the ball, and Halliburton dribbles it off his knee around center court, and then the rest was history. So fun night, exciting. Place was electric, loud as hell. Be interesting to see what we see tonight.
I am interested to see what we see tonight because, I mean, the series and would the Pacers have had a legitimate chance of winning the series had they won that game? Probably not, but reminds me a lot of, and the circumstances are a little different. It's probably not going to, that blunder isn't going to live in infamy the way that what I'm about to say is, but it reminds me of the 2018 finals with the infamous J.R. Smith no shot at the end of regulation, and then it goes to overtime, and the Cavs lose that series. So of course, apples and oranges, not the same blunder and whatnot. But as far as the underdog in that situation, when you're trying to steal a game on the road, have to win that game to have any legitimate shot of pulling off some type of upset. This is kind of what this reminds me of. Would the Pacers have a real shot of winning the series had they won that game? Still probably not, but they sure as hell, in my opinion, have absolutely no shot of winning this thing now down 0-1 here in Game 2. And in that case of that game, that was Warriors-Cavs, I think of the second of the two Durant finals in Golden State. I think Golden State whoops them by about 20 in Game 2, and I think goes on to sweep them in that series. So I don't know if that's what we'll see. But in tonight's case, we can get to it. But, typically – when the underdog like that doesn't, fails to get that first game, Game 2 doesn't go quite as well and slips out of their fingers a little earlier than now what we're expecting to see a potentially good game here tonight. So I'm curious what we see tonight as well.
Good evening, Mr. Berry. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Always a pleasure to have you here. Happy Thirsty Thursday. And here's the hard part from a wagering standpoint is everyone says, oh, close game, better grab the 8.5 or 9. Sometimes and usually it doesn't come back that way. Don't forget the Celtics in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs win and cover Game 1 and lose outright by about 20 in Game 2, then win the next 3, gentlemen sweep. And there you had the overtime tough game. So I think everyone run into the window saying, oh, this is that Game 2, wink, wink, Celtics don't show up. Celtics take care of business. And Indy will be the place to be over the weekend. Saturday, Celtics-Pacers Game 3, and then Monday, Memorial Day, you'll have Game 4 in Indy, and you'll have the Indianapolis 500. I mean, that city's going to be buzzing on Monday for sure. So expectations tonight, I think the Celtics got their wake-up call. Pacers have some players. They have some talent. They can play. And so if the Celtics take these guys lightly, they're in for it. Neither team wants to play defense. And as much as everyone touted, the Wolves and their defensive prowess, we'll get into this in a second. Dallas Biggs last night was able to take care of business. And it was kind of a Maverick, not just a win and a statement, but they kind of beat the Wolves at their own game last night.
100%, and obviously you got the contributions that you needed, a little bit more of a consistent and stepped up efficient scoring output from Kyrie and Luka, both hitting at least 30. And on the flip side, Karl-Anthony Towns, we talked about it. He's a guy that has to be good in this series, and if they go on and win this and want a chance in the finals, has to be better and more consistent. 6 for 20 from the field, 16 points. Probably not going to cut it. McDaniels has been really, really solid for them. If he can continue doing that, they'll have a chance. But, obviously Anthony Edwards only 19 points. Obviously that's, can point at that as well. But Karl-Anthony Towns, for me, is the X factor in this series. If he plays well, it's going to open the door a little bit for Ant. But at the end of the day, that output there out of him as the sidekick to Anthony Edwards, it has to be more consistent and better. But you're right. They did play that type of game, and not a ton of offensive output from their bench, and really, ran their starting 5 quite a bit. Just looking at their minutes, 3 guys, 40 plus minutes. But defensively, these guys stepped up last night for Dallas. So curious to see the way it goes. Would expect a split here and Wolves get the bounce back, but you never know, obviously. But at the end of the day, this series is going to be really, really good. And I think Dallas is going to have a good opportunity to make some adjustments. And, what we see from them on a nightly basis in this series could be completely different the way, depending on how Minnesota comes out in these games.
Yeah, and listen, 2 months ago, I think it was about 2 months ago, I gave out on my weekly show with Travis Geiger and Wager Wire, and I gave it out a couple other times verbally on our closing bell. I gave it out to the ECSI VIPs. As Dallas started to play better and start trending in the right direction, we gave out Dallas 13-1 to win the Western Conference. And so we're sitting there holding, grinning, we're biting our teeth. And I told everyone, and you get our work every night as well. I was like, you can't do anything game one. Minnesota's minus 170. Let's sit and wait. Well, the perfect storm happened. Dallas won game one. So listen, I am not a greedy person. I take chances, but I take very what's the word I'm looking for? Calculated risks and chances. And so again, this is going to be a 6-game series. Can Dallas win the series? 100%. Can the Wolves come back and win? 100%. So anyone that has a 13-1 ticket, I will say this once and once only, because I'll talk about each game, but listen. You tiptoe your little butt to the window. You see that series updated price, and it says Wolves plus 140. Okay. 5 times 140 equals plus 700. Okay. So now just do basic math with me. We have a 13-1 on Dallas, and now you have plus 700 on 5 units on the Wolves. So if the Wolves win, you win 7 units. If the Mavericks win, you win 13 units minus the 5 units that you just put on. So you win 8 units. So you either win 8 units on the Mavs or 7 units on the Wolves, and you take your little butt to Cape Cod or Aruba or wherever you want to go. That's a wrap, Riley.
And that's it. And then end of sentence, end of conversation. No, I think, and there's a lot of people who haven't done this for a long time, and they need that type of help if they have those situations. So it is helpful 100% when you lay it out like that. So, that doesn't mean you can't, put some pizza and beer money on the rest of these series games also, if you're dying to have some fun. Don't blow your 7 or 8 units that you won on the next 6 games, 5-6 games. That's not what we're saying. Put a quarter of a unit on the rest of it or so. I don't know. Anyways, some pizza and beer money if that's what you do, because you won, and that's the goal, right, my friend?
And people will say, Jeff, you gave it out. You got a shot. You're up 1 game. Let's sit and wait. Well, here's the problem. If you sit and wait is if you get too cute. We needed Dallas to get a 1-game lead. You got it in game 1. Okay. If Dallas would have lost game 1, now you'd be sitting there hoping they won game 2 and they won game 3. You got the perfect scenario right now. Don't get cute. Don't get coy, but it's all up to you. I know this. I'm winning 7 or 8 units. I don't know about the rest of you guys. So I was going to come on here and start with a rant, and I'm going to start with a rant now. I talked to a good friend and colleague. I saw some tweets. I saw some clippings, and I'm disgusted. And listen, to each his own. If you can go out and make $1 billion, God bless you. But with the new TV deals and the new super maxes and stuff, SGA next year, I think they said could make $75 million per. I thought I saw Luka or someone pressing the 90 to 95 million per. And I said to this person, tongue in cheek, I just might ban the NBA on principle. I mean, can you imagine this load management where they're only going to play 60, 62 games, and these guys are making $1.25 million per game. And for 20 of those games, they're sitting on the bench. I mean, when is enough here, Riley? I mean, these guys are making $1 million plus a game. Some of them will be next year.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with when the TV deals come out, because it's probably going to go up, and the crazy part is the regular season ratings, in my opinion, would be better, and these regular season games would matter if we shorten up the season a little bit here. And I know they're probably not going to do that because they're still making money hand over fist and whatnot here. But at the end of the day, these regular season games, I mean, they just matter less than they used to, or at least they are played less competitively than they used to be. We found a way to drum up some more interest and more competitiveness in November, December with that in-season tournament, and then what happens in January, February, March, these games are tough to watch sometimes. And I adore basketball, and I'm saying that. And not to mention that in-season tournament, which it's got some tweaks and obviously needs to have some changes to it. But I mean, a lot of the guys that are competing in that are not even the same guys that are here on their teams, if those teams were involved in it, that are still playing now. So at the end of the day, I'm mostly with you, and I especially if we're had a crazy competitive night to night watch and they're playing 75 plus games, then I wouldn't shake a stick at how much they're making, because that would be fun to watch. But to your point, they're sitting out 15 to 20 games. And the competitiveness in some of these games is just not where it needs to be. So I just and they've got so many things to keep themselves healthy. Just eliminate back-to-backs if that's the situation. Shorten up the season 10 games. I don't know. And you're going to get better ratings on your regular season games if you do something like that. So nonetheless, I'm with you for the most part, my man.
Yeah, and they talked about TNT losing the basketball. Again, the contracts for the big TV deals are now getting less and less because of the world's going to streaming. So you get the Apples, the Amazons, the Netflix, the Hulus, everyone jumping in and grabbing a piece of the pie. TNT, I think, losing all of the NBA next year, or a lot of it. They talked about Kenny and Charles and that beautiful cast of characters and show gone. But then you hear, I think it was TNT, TBS will be a part of the college football playoff. So the writing was already on the wall. So then, of course, they jump back in there. So it'll be interesting there. Before we get to the board, last night, if you watched the hockey and was expecting one of these up and down, can't wait for, 6-5 shootouts at the Rangers in Florida. I think the Rangers had 7 or 8 shots on goal after 2 periods. There was a stretch where they didn't have a shot on goal for 16 minutes. Panthers 3-0 winner. And an interesting stat for team total players. Igor Shesterkin, the goalie for the Rangers, after last night, has now allowed 3 goals or less in 34 of his last 35 games. So if you're going to go in, try to grab the Panthers team total over 3.5, good luck there, as it was 1-0 late in the third. A Ranger knocks the puck into his own net, 2-0, empty net, 3-0. Thanks for playing. Tomorrow night, they'll be back for game 2. Tonight, the home opener, Dallas versus the Oilers. ECSI VIP, and everyone that watches the closing bell, Mr. Lucky. A lot of you guys out there already have tickets. Myself and Andrew McGinnis, who we do shows twice a week with, one on our channel and one on his at Wager Talk. Early January, gave out the Dallas Stars to win the West and to win the Cup. We've eventually circled back. We have the Edmonton Oilers plus 450 to win the Cup. Back east in our pre-flop in October, November, we had the Rangers Eastern Conference champs and Stanley Cup champs, and we have circled back and had Florida plus 425. So we have the hockey board covered. We'll be diving in more to get into some possible situations where we'll get a little froggy. Tonight, if you want a little piece of the Dallas pie without laying any juice, Dallas team total over 3.5. You can get that plus 130. So again, get it to 4 or better, and you got a nice plus 130 ticket there. Short slate in the MLB tonight. Celtics-Pacers. It was Paul Skeens' day. Feel bad for my fantasy baseball players. Paul Skeens By the way, all the books made a bazillion today because everyone had over on the strikeout prop, and he only had 3 strikeouts. So the casinos and books cashed mightily there. He leaves with a 6-1 lead, and San Francisco says, "Hold my beer," and they score 6 runs in the next few innings and win 7-6. So Mr. Skeens doesn't get the win, or the Pirates. But the board is yours, my friend.
Yeah, let's just we can kick it into let's just knock out these 2 baseball games, and then we can talk a little more about that basketball game, and then get on out of here for tomorrow. But you got 2 left on the docket. You got one game that's 4-4 in the 9th, a barn burner in Oakland. If anyone's dying to watch this Colorado and Oakland game. But the other 2, White Sox in action, obviously not as exciting, but they are hosting the Baltimore Orioles. You've got Grayson Rodriguez on the mound for Baltimore, 4-1 with the 3.15 ERA. Last 2 out. Had a rough one a few weeks ago, and then he had a little bit of a stint. So last 2 have been good, but there was a gap in between. Last one out, 6 innings, 1 hit, 3 walks, 7 Ks. Across 82 pitches, so a little bit of a limit there with the 82 pitches after the IL stint that he had. Up against Mike Clevenger for the White Sox, who lately he's only got 3 starts, came on a little later into the season for the White Sox there. Not terrible, nothing crazy to write home about. Has been fairly steady. Not gonna dazzle you, not gonna get blown up. Really is kind of how he's pitching so far right now. Baltimore minus 240 on the line here tonight, with an 8.5 in Chicago, juiced under, I believe, or at least here on this one app that I'm looking at. Juiced under, minus 130 to the under. Any interest in this game whatsoever? You've obviously got a lopsided one. Not the type of line that makes me interested in any White Sox action, I will say, here tonight, my friend.
Now, I was trying to figure a way. If I'm not mistaken, Baltimore just got swept in St. Louis. The first series they've been swept in a long, long, long time. Grayson back after a stint on the IL, waiting for this Baltimore bats to wake up. Again, they got cute today. They got the team total over 4.5, juiced at minus 140. So I'm not laying the lumber there. Could I get into Baltimore first 5 minus the hook? That's kind of expensive. Something was kind of catching my eyes. The Baltimore Orioles are slow starters, where they almost play grab ass through 5 innings, and then the bats heat up late. But you can get the Baltimore team total over 2.5. I was looking at that first 5, and then I thought I saw something that was kind of interesting. It was an 8.5 overnight. Now it's down to an 8. If you want to get contrarian, you could do a first 5 under 4 runs. There is one Sharp Heritage that has it at 4.5. So if your excuse me, if your Sharp has 4.5 and you want to go a little contrarian and take first 5 under 4.5, I'm seeing 4 at most shops, but if you get a 4.5, you might want to dabble there. But they kind of priced us out of this game, Riley.
They did, and we've seen that a lot lately. And it's unless you're dying to take some White Sox action, which I don't think many people are in this one, you can get plus money on the plus a hook in the first 5 for the White Sox there. But I'm not too interested in that. This offense is back to being putrid. I mean, the only thing, like I said, Clevenger every once in a while will put out a decent start, and so that would be the way that you get into this if you believe it in Mike Clevenger, which I don't think anyone's run into the window to cheer for Mike Clevenger tonight. So we can leave that one on the side there. Toronto and Detroit. Detroit slowly kind of slipping back to expectation a little bit. 4 straight losses, a sweep, a failed sweep at Kansas City over the last few days here. Toronto just takes care of my White Sox 2 out of 3. Bats wake up in the 2 wins. 9 runs in each of those. But obviously Toronto's still trying to get themselves going here. They've got Gosman on the mound in Toronto as well. It's in Detroit for Toronto, Gosman. And Jack Flaherty for Detroit. Flaherty, last time out, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks. Has been doing kind of steady in that sense here the last few. Nothing outrageous, but also kind of keeping the Tigers in the games. Gosman has not quite been fantastic. He had a nice little stretch there end of April Last 10 hits, 7 runs. After that, 8 hits, 3 runs. So the ball has been getting put quite in play and finding some gaps against Gozman here. Tigers minus 115 at home tonight. Both teams 26 losses. Tigers 23 wins. Blue Jays 22 wins. Are we believing in any Gozman bounce back here at all here? I'm not a huge fan of either of these two pitchers, especially not Gozman right now. When Gozman's going, I do maybe like some Gozman action, but not the biggest backer of either of these two pitchers, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I was talking to a few people. Flaherty's pitched a lot better of late.
Yeah.
There's a lot of black cloud issues with this Jays team. This week made it leak out that either or both Vlad Guerrero and Bo Bichette available. Of course, they're asking King's ransom, but rumor has it that Toronto might not be afraid to let one or both go and just blow this whole thing up and start from fresh. Gozman, he has been, again, showed flashes last year, then gets a little nicked up and injured, and now this team is kind of limping. Detroit got us on Monday. We had them against the Royals, and as you said, got beat up pretty good by the Royals. Now come home. I don't have faith in either side. I know some wise guys that are taking a shot with Toronto tonight with Gozman to bounce back, and you're getting them at a plus price. Tigers send Lang down. Was one of the closers, hasn't been pitching well, so they sent him down today. 7.5 to me looks like a low number. You can get over 7.5 plus 5 cents or even money. Which probably means the final score is 2-1 on a walk-off homer or something like that. So don't have a great feel on either. If I had to take a swing and a miss here, I guess I'm looking for a home run prop. I'm going to go back to the other game. I'm going to go back to a little Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rashman for home runs from the Orioles tonight.
Okay, I can see those ones themselves. I want to take I don't want to take anything with the White Sox there. I will lean towards the Jays winning that game, but that's just a 51% to 49% lean if you ask me on that one there. But home run prop out of these two games. I'll go my man Riley Green, the Riley connection for that one there. Leading off tonight for Detroit. I'll go Riley Green.
All right. Sounds good to me.
All righty. The basketball game, we did talk a little bit about it, but we can tie in some thoughts. We didn't talk much about any totals or anything like that. Boston Celtics, depending on the shops, I'm seeing some 8.5s. I'm seeing some 9s. Maybe only 1 9. I'm not sure. But 8.5, 9, 225.5 on the full game total, with some team totals being right around 117.5 to 108.5. Obviously, game one, Pacers lose and slip out of their fingers. Should have had the victory in Boston in game one. And if anyone missed the start of the show, at least from my perspective, anytime this goes this way with the big underdog having a legitimate chance at game one and then you slipping out of their fingers, the rest of the series does not go well, and in my experience, game two does not go well for that underdog there. So and as you mentioned all the game two woes for the Celtics. So the first a couple of series this season, or in this postseason, that was after a big statement win in game one for the Celtics, not one where they have to pull a rabbit out of their hat. So they're not going to be. This is not a situation where they're going to be fat and happy like the first two series. They are going to be awake and ready for this game here. So I am. I typically don't play big favorites in the playoffs, but and I'm not saying I'm definitely playing them tonight, but I would lean towards the Celtics certainly winning and in my opinion probably covering tonight, at least from my perspective out of this one, at least on the spread here today.
Yeah, again, people remember what they saw last, but I think that game two woes, as you talked about in the first two series, plus an overtime loss where the Pacers should have won the game outright in regulation. Everyone now who didn't believe is now starting to believe, and the money's trickling in. I had 8.5, 9. It was 9 overnight, now 8.5 at the Circa. 225, now 225 and a half. On the way home from the Garden Monday, today's Thursday, Tuesday night, it was the overnight just an hour after the game was as low as 224. I know a lot of people on Celtics first half team total over. That's been a good play, especially against the Pacers. Again, some stuff smells to me. I wouldn't be. The game should have ended 120 to 117, which would have been at a 137. It was pacing so far over. It was hilarious, but it did slow down. So I might take a look at the under in the first half, and I just wouldn't be running to the window because it's as high as 225 and a half right now at the Circa, at the Superbook, at South Point. 225 at DraftKings. So I'll go contrarian first half under in the game. I'm like you. I think the Celtics win. I think they probably end up winning by double digits. I will also say I think the Pacers will win game 3 at home, and then we'll see what happens Monday on Memorial Day. But again, I'm not buying the moves on the Pacers like you.
No, and we're definitely on the same page there, and I think we're mostly on the same page with the total there. I didn't see a big enough jump after the like you said, what the final regulation score should have been. I thought the game. I was honestly leaning towards. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I thought the first game total should have been higher, so I was thinking it might have been a little bit of someone coming out rusty in game 1 there, and obviously I was wrong there. But to your point, it did slow down. So. I do prefer the first half play, as you said, but I'll even lean towards the game total going under. And I'm going to go with a 118 to 101 Celtics victory, and cover and under is my prediction on that one tonight, Friday.
Well, it's funny you say that because when we were walking into the Garden on Tuesday, my buddy goes, "What's the score?" And I said 120 to 10. What I say, 120 to 102. So hold on. Let me backtrack this because they were favored by 9.5. I had them winning by 12. I had it 120 to 108. That was my final score when we were walking in. They were going to win by 12. And again, that first 1 to 120 mentality there. So it would have snuck over. But the funny thing is that 120 number should have been the game-winning number for the Pacers.
Right.
And it ends up not being the number. So short slate tomorrow. Everyone watching and listening new to our channel, jump on over to YouTube. East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe. It's free. Turn on the notifications. Never miss a closing bell with me and Riley. Turn on the notifications. Busy day tomorrow. 11 a.m. East Coast time, 8 a.m. West Coast time. Travis Geiger, CXO Wager Wire. Yep, that's the logo right top right. Partner and sponsor of East Coast Sports Investors. Will be here live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Now, 1 p.m., not 2:30 tomorrow, 1 p.m., we'll have the 3 Men in a Box NCAA baseball, college baseball show. Matt Grissom and Quentin Mills. It is conference play, so we're getting ready for the tournament. So you want to join in there. We're going to add some futures to your portfolios there. 3:15, I will be a guest co-host, Andrew McGinnis, at Wager Talk at McGinnis Picks. We'll be talking hockey and whatever else he would like to. And then myself and Riley, 4:30, 5 o'clock, unless something comes up, we'll be back here to wrap it up for the Friday night closing bell and the week. Closing thoughts, sir.
Closing thoughts. I will be ready to rock and roll for that. Obviously, Mavs and Wolves tomorrow night should be another good one. And then I'll try and come to the table with some UFC thoughts. I believe it's number 302, 301, 302.
301, I think. Maybe wrong, though.
Yeah, 302. It is 302. Makhachev and Poirier. So big Makhachev, massive favorite. But there is some other good fights. Some bigger favorites on the main card, but either way, some good ones to talk about for sure. So I'll try to come to the table with that. But aside from that, ready to rock and roll for tomorrow and all things talking this weekend, my friend. So we'll be ready to roll, and I'll try to come to the table with some UFC stuff tomorrow.
Can't wait, as New Shoes once sang. Also, lastly, I guess some more footage coming out on the Scotty Scheffler debacle, and the officer, as usual, kind of overstepping his boundaries. Scotty being the saint, the Christian, didn't even pull the "Do you know who I am" card, and so again, doesn't look good over there. But it is what it is. Again, social media is going to do what they want with anything and everything. So I didn't bring it up. Me and Brady talked yesterday on Tea Time Wagers, and so there's I wanted to see I was talking to Brady about Brian Harmon, and he actually had the lead for a while. I think he's tied now.
I tied for second now. Hoffman took the. He's Charlie Hoffman's still on the course through 14, 5 under with the lead solo.
OMG, Charlie Hoffman grabs the lead, -5, a bunch at -4. Again, we talked about Hartman and a few others. So I saw Morikawa was -2. What did Scotty shoot today?
Let's see here. I have not been paying attention today, so I am looking at he is 3 over, still going right now. 3 over.
3 over.
3 over. Still feeling the effects. He's he was out 2 under early, and then let's see, 2 bogeys and then a triple bogey on 13. He must have hit it into some crap.
Well, he's getting it out of the system. We'll have the PGA U.S. Open in a few weeks. I think it's Father's Day weekend every year, so we'll be back for that one. So, everyone, thank you so much. It's been a great, great show. Standing room only. We can't thank you enough. How do you tip the dealer here? Give us a like. Give us a retweet on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe to our channel. We're here to educate with a little entertainment, a smile here and there. Again, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m., Travis Geiger, Wager Wire, talking movies, sports, graphs, all that good stuff. And then again, the change from 2:30 to 1 o'clock with 3 men in the box. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day, a great, great Thursday evening. Enjoy the action, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.